Alright boys, today we're going to be going over everything you need to know about Rell Seas. To start off, we're going to be starting off where you actually start off in Rell Seas. I know that was a lot of start offs. Now you're going to start on an island called Dead Man's Land. No idea what that is, but we'll figure it out when we play the game. It's a tutorial that shows you the basics of the game, like parkour and lockpicking. And lockpicking is one of the most crucial parts of the game because I'm pretty sure you're going to need to lockpick boss chests, raid chests, and just chest in general. And then it also shows takedowns, which aren't as much of a crucial part of the game as lockpicking is, but I mean, takedowns are cool. Then the next thing that happens is you fight a mini boss, and this mini boss shows you how to parry, M1, block, basically do all the general things that combat has. It doesn't get in depth with combat, but it does have combat. Then the next guy you fight is a lion, just to show you that the mesh bosses do exist and are good. Now the next thing you will probably come across on the first island you go to, or the first island you spawn on, honestly I don't know how it works, you are going to come across a shop. These shops will sell many things such as fishing rods, axes, just the general tool stuff. And then they will also sell lockpicks and many other things. I can't really get into details because I don't really know it. Now, the next thing you will also come into contact to in that town, probably right after you go to the shop, is the blacksmith. The blacksmith is how you enchant your weapons and upgrade your weapons. Now, as you can see, there's fire enchant, ice enchant, poison enchant, and sea stone enchant. Now, you can't see the sea stone enchant, but trust me, it exists. And to upgrade these weapons, you need to go find different materials throughout the Rell Seas world. Now, obviously, there could be more enchants and stuff now, but we don't know. Now, the next thing we're going to get into is ship building. Shoot, why did I say creating? But yeah, you can basically color your ship any way you want. Well, with the color panel they have, at least. You can change the flags, you can change the build of the ship, and this will all go towards the ship's stats, which is speed, armor, cannons, turn speed, and ram strength, and also durability. Now, there are 3 different types of ships. There's a sloop, a caravel, and a galleon. As you saw him accidentally showcase earlier, you're going to be able to place furniture and other things inside of your ship once that gets implemented, which I am assuming it's implemented by now because movie 1 was about a year ago now. Now, the next thing you are going to see, probably before you even get into ships, is the dexes. There's a fishing dex. There is a recipe dex, and there is also a material dex and a adventure dex, which shows many different things. The adventure dex is probably the most mysterious one. It just shows islands and the state of the island and what's going on the island at the time. Now, the next thing we have to talk about is fishing, because, well, I talked about the fishing dex, and fishing is just what I think is a major part of Rell Seas, because they're making fishing out to seem like it's a major part. Like, they have so many fish in the game. Fishing isn't just a fishing rod anymore. And they just have a bunch of sea life, I guess you could call it. And it looks like fishing is going to be a major part of the game. So if you don't want to fish, then I don't know. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is all the crews in the game. There are over 40 crews in this whole entire game. And these crews will have battles just by themselves. They will have wars by themselves. They will do stuff all by themselves. It's like basically you have other players in the game, but they're NPCs. And fighting these NPCs, fighting these crews, if you side with a crew, you'll get certain cards. And if you don't side with a crew, you won't get certain cards. I'll explain the cards later. You'll understand this in a minute. But it'll also affect your build and progression, build being the cards. Now, the next thing I have to go over is going to be your class skill. Now, I will go over cards here in a second, but class skill is basically the weapon you choose at the start is your class. And that class, basically, you have a weapon. You can upgrade that weapon, as you saw earlier, into like a grade A weapon. And then if you get another weapon, you don't have to upgrade that one to grade A. You can just apply the class skill and have the skills of that weapon, if you get what I mean. I hope you guys understood that, because I kind of explained it weird. Now, the next thing we have to talk about is the poster system, aka the skill cards. Basically, you will fight bosses, you will fight raids, you will just progress, you will do basically anything. Not basically anything, but like most things will give you posters, aka cards. And that will give you skills. Like, as you can see on the screen, you can shoot off walls by using jump. You give 2 more Geppo. It just gives you things. It's basically like deep woken building. if you understand what I mean there. And there's also these cards for hockey, and that's going to bring us into our next segment, which is hockey. Now, hockey itself is not obtained off start. You will not have hockey off the start of the game. You have to grind and grind and grind to get the spiritual tab, which is what hockey is in. And basically, hockey is the cards, same thing as combat was, but it's more powerful, and it's real powerful. I don't know why I said that. That was kind of cringy. And you can have different hockey designs. You can have different hockey placement. You can have different hockey colors. You can put your stat points into different types of hockey, like armament, observation, and conquerors. And yeah, that's basically hockey for you. Sorry, I completely forgot to mention this earlier, but this game runs on a blueprint system. Basically, you fight a boss, you get a blueprint, then you have to go out, get those materials for that blueprint, and then craft that blueprint. So basically, if you get a sword blueprint, you have to go out there, you have to find materials, you have to kill bosses, you have to mine things, you have to dive the depths to get the materials for the blueprint. So yeah, blueprints are basically how this game works. Now, another thing that this game has is mounts, and mounts are gonna go crazy. You can collect them all like Ash Ketchum. At least I think. Maybe you're locked behind certain mounts if you don't go with a certain crew, but I'm assuming they wouldn't gatekeep mounts like that. But yeah, mounts are just a way to get around islands. There are flying mounts, there are sea mounts, like swimming mounts, and there are also land mounts, which is just insane that these guys did this. And there are also vehicles mounts, but those aren't actual vehicles. It's basically just a mount. You can also steal mounts and kill mounts, which I think is just crazy. Crazy that they would do that to you. Like, not crazy in general, just crazy that they would do it to you. Now, the last thing I am going to mention is crews. Crews are, well, crews. You can only have one crew name in the whole entire game. So if somebody takes your crew name, you got to kill them. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. But yeah, crews are really in-depth in this game, I'm assuming. The crew creator is just in-depth itself, but you can also upload custom logos, so you don't need to worry about just having the skull there. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up today. If I forgot to mention anything, comment it below so people will know about it. And yeah, peace. That's been it from me. Enjoy the outro, and I hope you have a good one.